appreciate your link between the suffering of the people of Kashmir and the people of Palestine. As you know, both issues started after the inception of the United Nations. One started UNSO as a UN Truth Organization, UNMOGIB in Pakistan and India. So it's almost, we have the similar history. There are some Security Council resolutions that deal with the issue of Kashmir and similar with Palestine. However, the difference that the issue of Palestine is very present. It's almost every month we discuss it. There is discussion here, different, sometimes presidential statements, sometimes resolution. But the issue of Kashmir is absent from the United Nations. How could Pakistan bring this issue back to the core of the deliberation of the United Nations? Thank you.
James.
If I could ask you something that's not quite on the agenda of what you've been discussing here, of course you expected, but there's been some important developments in the last few hours, a rapprochement between Saudi Arabia and Iran, and a restoration of diplomatic relations. What could that mean for the Middle East region and, in fact, for the world?
Okay, yeah.
Hi, thank you. I wanted to ask what, Your Excellency, what the role you thought of other religions, including the Catholics who have been involved in interreligious dialogue, what sort of role they can play to combat Islamophobia.
Azim Yasa.
You have been playing a good role, by holding all these conferences. As far as the resolutions and the statements are concerned, fine. But why the OIC, which is in the league of about 54 Muslim countries, why they are lacking in creating any kind of substance to counter the Islamophobia and to clear the misrepresentation of the women in Islam? Thank you.
My question is concerning the role of media play here, because when we talk about Islam, I think most of people first reacted is Taliban, ISO, Al-Qaeda, women's rights. What role do you think the media should play to fight against Islamophobia here? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Maureen. Thank you for Minister and Ambassador. So my question is following James' question. He mentioned that Iran and Saudi Arabia agreed to resume diplomatic relations today, but this agreement is followed by China-led negotiations in Beijing. So my following question is, what's your opinion on China's role in brokering this deal between Iran and Saudi Arabia? Thank you.
Asif.
Can in any way UN be regulated or come up with some sort of enforcement to enact the measures to control the hate spread against Islamophobia?
Nasser, you have question, or anybody else have question?
My question is the same.
Yeah. Any follow-ups?
Social media as well, where the hate speech and
Okay. Okay. So I'll give the floor to a foreign minister. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Let's try and read my own handwriting. So in the context of your question on the OIC and the role that we can play internally and within the Muslim world to combat not only Islamophobia, but the issue of women in Islam, I think that's exactly what we're trying to do. Through the events hosted today at the United Nations. Within the concept of women in Islam, I think it's important for the Muslim world and Muslim countries to reclaim the narrative, to reclaim the space, whether it's on the issue of women's rights, for example. We have to reclaim the space from both ends. We have to reclaim the space from the extremists within our own religion, who attempt to use religion as an excuse to deprive women of their rights, and we have to reclaim the space from Islamophobes who purposely and falsely create this caricature of Islam as a religion that deprives women of their rights. And we attempted to do just that in our Women in Islam's conference on International Women's Day. I think it was incredibly powerful to hear consensus, unanimous consensus across the Muslim world about the rights of women, the equal rights to women, their space within society, and particularly importantly, their right to have an education. At a time where in parts of the world people are using Islam as an excuse to usurp that right, the OIC Conference on Women in Islam is a strong message to such forces that not you, this is the consensus in the Muslim world. We're unanimous that women have a right to it.
बिलावल भुट्टो ज़रदारी अक़वाम मुत्तहिदा में प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस कर रहे हैं और इससे पहले उन्होंने एक ख़ुसूसी तकरीब से खिताब किया था.
Introducing Iced Tea. Calming tea और joyful fruit flavors का unique fusion. Fuse tea. What a fusion.
हम हैं फैसल बैंक, पाकिस्तान का बेहतरीन इस्लामी बैंक, जहां मिले सूद से पाक इस्लामी बैंकारी के तमाम प्रोडक्ट्स.